In February 1846, men and women lay frozen inside crude cabins near a lake in the Sierra Nevada mountains. Food was gone. Animals were gone. Leather, bark, and bone had been eaten. Some bodies had already been used as food. They had been trapped for 3 months. In the spring of 1846, several families left the eastern United States to travel to California. The route normally took 4 to 6 months using the Oregon-California Trail. The journey required strict timing. If travelers reached the Sierra Nevada too late in the year, winter snow would block all passage. The group that became known as the Donner Party included about 87 people. Key members were the Donner brothers, George and Jacob, and James Reed. Most were farmers with little experience in long-distance migration. The main trail was well known. A new shortcut, called the Hastings Cutoff, was advertised as faster. Lansford Hastings claimed it saved time by cutting south of the Great Salt Lake and rejoining the main trail in Nevada. His guidebook promised fewer miles and easier travel. He had not tested the route with wagons. At Fort Bridger in Wyoming, the group had to choose: stay on the known trail or take the new shortcut. Hastings was not present. A letter from him encouraged them to take his route and promised he would guide them through. James Reed and the Donner brothers argued for the shortcut. Others opposed it. The group voted to take the Hastings Cutoff. This decision cost them weeks. The Hastings Cutoff led through the Wasatch Mountains in Utah. No wagon road existed. The group had to cut trees, level ground, and build paths by hand. Progress slowed to a few miles per day. Hastings never appeared. His written instructions were vague. The terrain was worse than described. After weeks of labor, they reached the Great Salt Lake Desert. Hastings had promised a 2-day crossing. It took them 5 days. There was no water and little grass. Oxen collapsed and died. Wagons were abandoned. Supplies were lost. When they rejoined the main trail in Nevada, it was late summer. They were already far behind schedule. Tensions rose. Food ran low. Animals were dying. Travel slowed. During an argument, James Reed stabbed and killed another man. He was banished from the group and forced to ride ahead alone. He later reached California and tried to organize a rescue. The rest of the party continued west through Nevada. They faced deserts, mountains, and early snowstorms. By late October, they reached the eastern edge of the Sierra Nevada. Snow began falling heavily. The mountain passes closed before they could cross. The group tried to move forward, but deep snow stopped the wagons. They turned back and built shelters near a lake, later called Donner Lake. Others built camps several miles away. They had little food. Most cattle were gone. Traps caught few animals. Fishing failed. Snow was too deep to forage. Winter storms buried the camps. Snow reached the roofs of the cabins. No travel was possible. They boiled hides, belts, and bones. They scraped mold from the insides of roofs and ate it. Children died first. Then adults. In December, 17 people attempted to cross the mountains on foot using makeshift snowshoes. They carried little food. Most died during the attempt. Survivors later admitted they had eaten the dead. At the lake camps, deaths continued. Bodies were buried in snow or kept inside cabins. Some were later used as food. By January, more than half the group was dead. James Reed reached California in October. He warned settlers that a group was trapped in the mountains. Rescue parties were organized, but winter slowed all efforts. The first rescue party reached the camps in February 1847. They found people too weak to walk. Some had to be carried. Some were left behind because rescuers could not carry everyone. More rescue trips followed in March and April. When the last survivors were taken out, only 48 of the original 87 were alive. The story spread quickly. Newspapers reported starvation and cannibalism. The name Donner Party became a warning. The cause of the disaster was not weather alone. It was timing, poor planning, and the choice to trust an untested shortcut. They left too late. They followed advice without proof. They entered mountains with no margin for delay. Winter finished what bad decisions had started. Their route was later abandoned. The Hastings cutoff was discredited. The Donner Party became a permanent example of what happens when risk replaces evidence.